For the Buffalo Bills tonight, beating Miami 31-10, you now have won 12 out of your last 13 games against this team. You own Miami. Hard Rock Stadium should be renamed Bills Mafia Stadium because anytime Buffalo walks into Hard Rock, they take it over. The Dolphins have no answer for anything that Josh Allen in Buffalo does. James Cook tonight was a man on a mission. He had 3 touchdowns in just the first half. And what's different about the Bills this year compared to the Buffalo teams that we've seen in the past is that they're not Josh Allen dependent anymore. It's like you still need Josh Allen to play well, but now you're a balanced football team. You're not asking Josh Allen to say, hey, go out there, Josh, and win us the game. You can now play complementary football. You can run the football. You can be able to control time possession. You can establish your presence on the line of scrimmage. This is a really good offensive line that Buffalo has. They have good guards. They got really good tackles. And what impressed me the most is, in spite of them having wide receivers that aren't household names, they got some really talented wideouts. Khalil Shakur, it seems like this is the only wide receiver that Josh Allen trusts because every time he was dropping back the pass, he was getting the football. I wish I would have picked up Khalil Shakur in fantasy. And the thing about Khalil Shakur and all of these potential breakout fantasy football players is that normally anytime these fantasy analysts say that a guy is going to break out, 7 times out of 10, they end up being massive disappointments. So when people were telling me in the offseason that, oh, Khalil Shakur is going to be able to fill the role that Stephon Diggs had, I was kind of saying, I don't really know about that. But he's a baller. Really dependable when it comes to catching the football, no drops, and he's really good after the catch. He's like a running back once he gets the ball in his hands. We didn't really hear much from Dalton Kincaid, their second-year tight end that they drafted in the first round out of Utah, but they still have him. They got Keon Coleman, who pretty much was quiet tonight. But this is a team that, with Joe Brady in his first full season as the OC, he's committed to making sure that this is a balanced football team. And I like what I saw of the Bills tonight offensively to the point where I believe this season may be their best chance to win the Super Bowl now that you have the ability to be balanced. You see, when you played Kansas City, what hurt you in that game last year in that loss in the divisional round was that you couldn't win that TOP battle. You couldn't keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Now, with you having a new identity that is a run-first approach, not asking Josh Allen to do too much, but just manage the game, you have the kind of offense now that can keep a Lamar, a Joe Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as you continue to ground and pound their defense. They got more than just James Cook at running back. They got Ray Davis, a really good rookie running back out of Kentucky. He's more of a bruiser. He's not as explosive as what James Cook is, but he's very powerful. He'll knock your damn helmet off. You try to run straight up in the hole with him. And I like the identity of the Buffalo Bills this year. And defensively, did y'all peep Von Miller out there? I thought last season it was it for Von Miller. I thought he was going to hang up the cleats. I thought his prime years were behind him, but he's making a career resurgence. He has now had a sack in the Buffalo Bills' first 2 games. And with you having A.J. Epinesa, Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver, you got one of the best defensive lines in the National Football League. Not only are you good against the run, but you can absolutely get after the quarterback like how you got after Tua tonight. And for all the injuries that Buffalo had to deal with going into this game, the fact that they held Miami, who has one of the more explosive offenses in the league, to only 10 points, shows you how much depth they have on defense. And it tells you how good of a defensive mind Sean McDermott is. Now, part of why Buffalo looks so good defensively is because Miami's offense doesn't do anything new. You only got to worry about 3 things: them running the football, or them throwing it to either Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill in the passing game. Now, Jonnu Smith was getting a good amount of work, which is a little bit different, but Miami's offense is too one-dimensional. And that's why Sean McDermott does such a great job when it comes to game planning for it. And moving forward, the Bills, to me, are far and away the best team in the AFC East. I don't see the Jets being able to win this division over them. The Dolphins aren't going to be able to do so because they don't even know how to beat good teams. And the New England Patriots, listen, I give them a lot of props for upsetting Cincinnati in week 1, but week 1 is when a lot of fluke stuff happens. The Buffalo Bills are once again going to take home the AFC East division title, have a home playoff game, and this is their best shot to make it to the Super Bowl. You don't need to have elite wide receivers to win a Super Bowl. Look what Patrick Mahomes just did the last 2 years. He was winning Super Bowls with nobody's at wide receiver and Travis Kelce. Josh Allen always plays pretty good when they go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now you have the ability to beat teams playing bully ball, and if you can't have success on the ground, then you can depend on Josh Allen to win you games. I love the style of football that the Buffalo Bills are playing this year so far. I know it's early in the season. We got 15 more games left to go, but the Buffalo Bills, to me, look like a top 3, top 4 team in the AFC right now, and I like Buffalo's chances to win the AFC this year more than I like Baltimore, because Baltimore, unlike Buffalo, they're too Lamar-centric. They have to rely on Lamar to do everything. Lamar Jackson led their team in rushing yards and carry last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, despite them having Derrick Henry. And it seems like they don't plan on easing up the workload when it comes to Lamar. You can't win a Super Bowl if you're just a one-trick pony. And that's what has costed Buffalo in the past. Now, this is the regular season. Buffalo always is a really good regular season team. It's going to be interesting to see if this style of football translates in the playoffs, and if we actually see a different outcome in the postseason for Buffalo than what we've seen over the last couple of years. But you definitely have to feel really encouraged with what you saw out of the Buffalo Bills on both sides of the football. The fact that you were just able to obliterate Miami, down several starters on defense, is really impressive. And I love the new offense that we see with Joe Brady in year 2 calling the plays.